told the entire room he was sorry I couldn't be a bigger part of this, but some people just have the vision and others are meant to support it. The spotlight hit the crisp shoulder of his $1,000 suit, a halo of pure, arrogant white. In the silent, cavernous ballroom, the polite applause sounded like sand falling. I just smiled. Let him have his moment. We met at a hackathon 5 years ago, a blur of energy drinks and frantic coding. Xavier was the idea man, all charisma and sweeping gestures, painting pictures in the air of an app that could change the design world. I was the one who actually built it overnight, turning his vaporware into a working prototype. I remember a moment around 3 a.m., surrounded by empty pizza boxes, when he looked at my screen and whispered, "You're a damn genius." That's the memory I held onto. First red flag came a week later, when he presented our work to a small group of angel investors. My name wasn't on a single slide. He claimed the deck was too crowded, that he'd make it up to me next time. I told myself it didn't matter. We were a team. The next 2 years were a golden age, or so I thought. We were building Kaleido, our intuitive design platform. I lived and breathed the code. I remember the exact Pantone blue we chose for the UI, the corner table at the daily grind where we mapped out the entire user flow on a stack of napkins. He was the face, the voice. I was the engine, the architecture, the soul. He handled the marketing meetings. I handled the all-nighters fixing a critical bug before a demo. The imbalance grew so slowly I barely noticed it. He'd expense $1,000 client dinners at Zuni Cafe while I was paying for our server hosting from my personal savings. "We need to project success," he'd say, clapping me on the shoulder. "It's the only way to make it." And I, the quiet supporter, believed him. The illusion shattered on a Tuesday in March. I was searching our shared Dropbox for a tax form and my cursor slipped. I clicked on a folder he'd mislabeled archives. Inside, another folder, Terminus Solo Venture. My blood went cold. It was a complete pitch deck for Kaleido, but rebranded. It listed Xavier as the sole founder and CEO. It detailed a 5-year plan that included a corporate restructuring in 6 months, a phase-out of redundant technical partners, and a new LLC registered in Delaware under his name alone. He wasn't just planning to cut me out. He had built a meticulous legalistic guillotine. I didn't confront him. I closed the laptop, went for a walk, and felt nothing but a strange, chilling calm. Next morning, I hired an intellectual property attorney, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Ms. Zhang. Her advice was simple: stay quiet, play your part, and document everything. For the next 6 weeks, my life became a double act. By day, I was his loyal partner, refining the algorithm. By night, I was an archaeologist of my own work, digging up proof of my creation. I compiled every Git commit with my digital signature, 98% of the total codebase. I screenshotted early Slack conversations where I first proposed the app's core mechanics. I found the initial server invoices from WebWeave, paid from my Wells Fargo account, totaling over $12,000. Each new piece of evidence widened the chasm of his betrayal. He hadn't just stolen my work, he was trying to erase my existence. The breaking point came at Innovate West, the biggest tech conference on the coast. This was supposed to be our moment, the unveiling of Kaleido to the world. Xavier walked onto the main stage alone. He didn't even mention my name. In front of our mentors, our peers, and a key investor named Veronica Shaw, he delivered a breathtaking monologue. He spoke of lonely nights wrestling with code, of the singular vision that pulled him through the darkness. "Collaboration is vital," he said, his voice ringing with false sincerity, "but a ship needs one captain. My vision is what brought us here today." I was sitting in the 3rd row, a glass of ice water in my hand. The condensation felt like it was burning my skin. In that moment, the plan shifted from recovery to retribution. And I noticed a tiny, crucial detail. On his final slide, he used a complex data visualization I had built to track user engagement. It was beautiful, but he had no idea how the algorithm behind it worked. He just thought it looked impressive. The 2 months that followed were the most disciplined of my life. Under Ms. Zhang's guidance, we didn't sue. We waited. The legal fees climbed to $20,000, draining my savings, but my parents gave me a loan, their quiet belief a lifeline. We prepared an airtight intellectual property injunction and a comprehensive fraud claim, ready to be filed at a moment's notice. There was one close call, when Xavier walked in as an email from Ms. Zhang flashed on my screen. I slammed the laptop shut, my heart hammering against my ribs, and mumbled something about a spam pop-up. He bought it. He was too busy basking in his newfound glory to notice the ground crumbling beneath his feet. The evidence we had was overwhelming. Timestamped design files, bank statements, even a recorded Zoom call where I spent an hour explaining the predictive analytics module to him. The ironic coincidence that sealed it was an automated email from WebWeave confirming my status as primary account holder for all Kaleido server assets, a piece of unassailable proof I hadn't even looked for. The perfect decoy was the Digital Innovator of the Year award. Xavier, of course, was a finalist. He was walking into the most public, most prestigious trap imaginable. The night of the awards ceremony was a symphony of clinking champagne glasses and hollow praise. When they announced his name, he strode to the stage, a portrait of success. Gave his speech, thanking everyone but me. Then the host opened the floor for Q&A. I stood up in the aisle, my voice perfectly level. Xavier, congratulations. Can you briefly explain the core function of the predictive analytics module in your platform? He squinted against the stage lights, unable to see me clearly, and launched into a smooth, meaningless river of marketing buzzwords. His confidence was a skyscraper. I was about to provide the demolition. Took 2 steps forward into the edge of the light. His smile froze. He knew my voice. I can explain it, I said, my voice carrying through the suddenly silent ballroom, because I designed it, and I coded it. The host started to move toward me, but I kept going, my words sharp and precise. I have the Git commit logs, the original Adobe Cloud files timestamped from 2021, and the server invoices paid from my personal bank account. A ripple of whispers turned into a wave of murmurs. Veronica Shaw, the investor, was leaning forward in her seat, her expression unreadable. For the judges, and for any potential investors in this room, I continued, you may want to ask Xavier to see the contents of a folder on his laptop titled Terminus Solo Venture. It details his plan to defraud our company and push me out after securing funding. Xavier's face went from a healthy tan to the color of chalk. He opened his mouth, but only a dry, croaking sound came out. It was a disgruntled employee. He finally managed to stammer, a liar. But no one was listening. The host was speaking urgently into his lapel mic. As security discreetly escorted a ghost white Xavier from the stage, Ms. Zhang was waiting for me by the exit. She simply nodded. Let's file the injunction in the morning, I told her. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. TechCrunch ran a story with the headline Innovator or Imposter. The award was publicly rescinded within 24 hours. The arbitration was swift and brutal. It was granted sole ownership of all intellectual property. Xavier was ordered to pay back the $45,000 he'd funneled from our business account. The last I heard, a friend sent me a photo of him working from a shared WeWork space, his tailored suits replaced by a wrinkled polo, hawking his services as a freelance brand consultant. The visionary had become just another guy in a glass box. 6 months later, I secured a 7-figure seed round from Veronica Shaw. Rebranded the app, changing its name from Kaleido to Origin. My new office is on the 34th floor, overlooking the bay. It's quiet. My team is small, brilliant, and loyal. A tech journalist recently called me the quiet visionary behind the year's most surprising success story. Xavier once said that some people have the vision and others are meant to support it. He was right about the 2 roles, he just had them reversed. His vision was a mirage. Mine was finally real.